Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 7, Text number 7. Kamam dahanti kritino nanurosha drishtya rosham dahantam utatena dahanta sahyam soayam yadantaram alam pravesham babeti kama katham no punarasya manah shrayeta. Kamam, lust, dahanti, chastise, kritnaha, great stalwarts, nanu, but, rosha drishtya, by wrathful glance, rosham, wrath, dahantam, being overwhelmed, uta, although, they, na, cannot, dahanti, subjugate, asahyam, intolerable, saha, that, ayam, him, yat, because, antaram, within, alam, however, pravishan, entering, bibeti, is afraid of, kamaha, lust, katham, how, nu, as a matter of fact, punaha, again, asya, his, manaha, mind, shrayeta, take shelter of. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Great stalwarts like Lord Shiva can, by their wrathful glances, overcome lust and vanquish him. Yet they cannot be free from the overwhelming effects of their own wrath. Such wrath can never enter into the heart of him, the Lord, who is above all this. So, how can lust take shelter in his mind? Purport. When Lord Shiva was engaged in severely austere meditation, Cupid, the demigod of lust, threw his arrow of sex desire. Lord Shiva, thus being angry at him, glanced at Cupid in great wrath, and at once the body of Cupid was annihilated. Although Lord Shiva was so powerful, he was unable to get free from the effects of such wrath. But in the behavior of Lord Vishnu, there is no incident of such wrath at any time. On the contrary, Bhrigu Muni tested the tolerance of the Lord by purposely kicking his chest, but instead of being angry at Bhrigu Muni, the Lord begged his pardon, saying that Bhrigu Muni's leg might have been badly hurt because his chest is too hard. The Lord has the sign of the foot of Bhrigupad as the mark of tolerance. The Lord, therefore, is never affected by any kind of wrath, so how can there be any place for lust, which is less strong than wrath? When lust or desire is not fulfilled, there is the appearance of wrath. But in the absence of wrath, how can there be any place for lust? The Lord is known as Aptakama, or one who can fulfill his desires by himself. He does not require anyone's help to satisfy his desires. The Lord is unlimited, and therefore his desires are also unlimited. All living entities but the Lord are limited in every respect. How then can the limited satisfy the desires of the unlimited? The conclusion is that the absolute personality of Godhead has neither lust nor anger. And even if there is sometimes a show of lust and anger by the absolute, it should be considered an absolute benediction. Om Agyanathimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Once again, translation of Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 7, Text number 7. Great stalwarts like Lord Shiva can, by their wrathful glances, overcome lust and vanquish him, yet they cannot be free from the overwhelming effects of their own wrath. Such wrath can never enter into the heart of him or the Lord, who is above all this. So how can lust take shelter in his mind? Hare Krishna to all of you. So we are hearing about the greatest devotee, Lord Shiva. The scriptures say, Vaishnavanam yatha Shambhu. Lord Shiva is the topmost Vaishnava. Actually, Shiva means all auspicious one. Even though he may show anger, he is still considered to be the most auspicious one. And anyone who receives the wrath from a pure devotee, there is always some benefit. Even though it may not be apparent immediately, but there is always some benefit. And we've heard that Lord Shiva is the head of the Rudra Sampradaya. Now these 4 Sampradayas, they are authorized, to show the spiritual path. And stalwart devotees, their purpose is to propagate path of bhakti, to teach bhakti yoga. What does a stalwart mean? I was looking up the meaning. Strong, sturdy, dependable. What? Dependable not just physically, but also morally. You see? And since Lord Shiva is the head of Rudra Sampradaya, it is mentioned that anyone who's in charge of a sampradaya cannot be angry. But Srila Prabhupada mentions in his purport, there's a purpose behind this anger. You see? Now this verse is a glorification of the Supreme Lord by Lord Brahma, and he's explaining this to his son Narad Muni. And he's telling Narad Muni that Krishna, the Supreme Lord, is never affected by lust or wrath. Never. We living entities, we get affected by lust and wrath, right? Like in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, Krishna tells Arjuna, Kama isha krodha isha rajo guna samudbhava mahasano mahapapam vidyam enam iha verinam. Arjuna, it is lust only, which is born of contact with the material modes of passion and later transformed into wrath. And that is all devouring sinful enemy of this world. Krishna is making it very, very clear. What is lust? It is the sinful enemy of living entities. He's talking about us, human beings. You see? And where does the lust live? What are the sitting places of lust? Bhagavad Gita explains. Senses, mind, intelligence. These are the 3 sitting places of lust. And the advice Lord Krishna gives to Arjuna is, from the very beginning, he says, curb this great symbol of sin. From the very beginning. So that means we have to be vigilant and always try to see, am I getting affected by lust? Am I getting attracted? And in the very beginning, curb that lust, which is a symbol of sin. This is what Krishna tells Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita. So now the next question would be, how to curb? Okay, I have recognized there is lust. Now what? Very simple. Krishna says, regulate the senses. Regulating the senses will curb this enemy, sinful enemy, which is called lust. And Srila Prabhupada has given us all the regulative principles we need. The 4 regulative principles that can help us control our mind, our senses, and our body as well. And the 4 regulative principles are no meat eating, fish, eggs, onion, garlic, no intoxication, tea, coffee, no gambling, and no illicit sex. These 4 regulative principles, they are, you can say, if we can avoid these 4, you can call sin, symbol of sin, no meat, if we eat meat, we gamble, illicit sex, all that, intoxication, all that can shake the spiritual pillars of our life. And that's why Shastras clearly explain why we should follow these 4 regulative principles, so that our spiritual pillars are very strong. And then Krishna also tells Arjuna to steady the mind. How? By understanding the scriptures, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. Take on knowledge and put it into practice. And the best way to steady the mind is to meditate, mantra meditation, where we chant. We chant every morning attentively, and that is what can help us to steady our mind. And what will be the result? Very simple. We'll get spiritual strength. And then we'll be able to conquer this greatest enemy called lust. See, it is due to contamination since many, many lifetimes. We have been under the influence of Maya for such a long time. And that is why the pure love that we have for the Supreme Lord is transformed into lust. Bhagavad Gita teaches us we are spirit souls. Right? So if we are spirit souls, we are pure and we are eternal, but we are in the material body. And that is where contamination comes in. And Srila Prabhupada says, because we have forgotten the Supreme Lord, and that is why we are suffering here. And this is all due to contamination. And what kinds of contamination? Desires, attachments, hankerings, designations, you see? All these are because of lust and nothing else. And in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, lust is less strong than wrath. When lust is not satisfied, it turns into wrath. So if there is no wrath, there is no place for lust. Now, if we see in the purport, Srila Prabhupada talks about great personalities like Lord Shiva, Bhrigu Muni, Lord Brahma, Narad Muni. They are all very powerful. Some may think they are equal to the Supreme Lord, but no. If you look in the dictionary, the meaning of God, it is singular, only one person. Someone who has no one equal to him or above him. That is God, the Supreme Lord. So even though these are all very powerful personalities, but they are not equal to the Supreme Lord. Even Brahma, Srimad Bhagavatam teaches us, Brahma is a secondary creator. Krishna is the original creator. Brahma is secondary. And Lord Shiva, he's been assigned the responsibility of annihilation. And where does that power for annihilation come from? Comes from Krishna. So all these great personalities, they are subordinate to Krishna. They are not independent. We've heard so many times, Krishna, the Supreme Lord, is Atmaram. He does not need anybody's help. We should not think, oh, if I don't offer food to Krishna, he's going to go hungry. Or if I don't love him, no one will love him. Or if I don't serve him, oh, he'll wonder who's going to serve me. No. He's Atmaram. He doesn't need anybody's help. And because he's the Supreme Lord, he has no lust, no anger, no wrath. Demigods, yes, they get affected by lust and wrath. You see? Just like demigods, they were tired of all the demons who were harassing them. They wanted a solution. So they went to Lord Shiva. and they wanted Lord Shiva to have a son that can kill all the demons. See how far the demigods think of. Really far. So what they decided to send Kamadev, right? Kamadev, Cupid, to Kailash Parvat. And at that time, Lord Shiva was meditating. It is very, very, very wrong to disturb when someone is meditating, because the focus is on the Supreme Lord. Lord Shiva was meditating on the Supreme Lord. And what did Cupid do, Kamdev? He shot arrows of lust. And that really got Lord Shiva very angry. He became full of wrath, and he opened his third eye and he burnt Cupid to ashes. And that is what this verse is talking about. The wrath is more powerful than lust. Another example given in the purport by Srila Prabhupada is Bhrigu Muni. Who is he? He's the son of Lord Brahma. And because Lord Shiva is also son of Lord Brahma, so Lord Shiva and Bhrigu Muni, they are brothers. So one time, many great sages, they were on the banks of Saraswati. And Bhrigu Muni was part of that group. And they were having a big debate. The debate was, who is more powerful? Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. Who is more powerful? Who is the best? Even kids have, sometimes in school, even in colleges, even sometimes adults, they have this debate. Who is more powerful? Is it my brother, my sister, my this, my that, my colleague? No. So here was this big debate. And Bhrigu Muni was nominated to test this, to test tolerance. He was asked, now you be our representative and you go and you find out who is most powerful. Is it Brahma, Vishnu, or Mahesh? He was asked to find out who has anger issues. I remember reading somewhere a seminar on anger management, how to manage anger. And the tickets were very expensive. Anger management. I guess we all need anger management. At some time or other, when our desires are not fulfilled, when our expectations are not met, when, like Krishna tells in the Bhagavad Gita chapter 2, that when the senses come in contact with sense objects, there is attachment. And when that desire is not fulfilled, anger arises. And that leads to bewilderment of memory, intelligence is lost, and a person falls down. So anger is something that we need to avoid. Every time a person gets angry, there is a chemical reaction in the body. So anger is it's actually a no-no. So here, Bhrigu Muni was asked to find out who has anger issues. So first he went to Brahma, his father. Now it's proper etiquette that when we meet our parents, elders, guru, head of the family or whoever, we offer respects, we offer obeisances. Of course, in Vedic times, they used to offer respects by going flat on the ground, which is called Dandavat Pranam. Then, of course, gradually it became where, elders' feet were touched as offering obeisances. Now it has reached to the knees, you just touch the knees and, do that. Gradually, it's only namaste, offering obeisances. But here, Brahma, being the father of Bhrigu Muni, he expected his son to offer respects to him. But Bhrigu Muni did not, because he was on a mission. His mission was to find out who has anger issues. You see, Srila Prabhupada tells us humility is very, very important. The first ornament of a devotee is humility. What does that mean? A person is not anxious to get the satisfaction of being honored by others. So here, Brahmaji, he was expecting his son to offer respects, but Bhrigu Muni did not. So Brahmaji got angry, but internally. He did not want to show, but you could tell from his face he was angry. So Bhrigu Muni decided, now my father, he does not have quality of goodness. He could not control his anger. Then he went to his brother, Lord Shiva. And when he went there, Lord Shiva wanted to hug him. Oh, my brother, come, come, come. Bhrigu Muni said, no way. No way I'm going to give you a hug. And that made Lord Shiva very angry. He wanted to kill his brother with the trident. But Bhrigu Muni escaped from there and he said, nope, he has anger issues too. Then he went to Lord Vishnu in Vaikuntha. And as he went near Lord Vishnu, he kicked him on his chest. Can you imagine kicking the Lord on the chest, knowing that this is the Supreme Lord? Well, what did Lord Vishnu do? He immediately apologized to Bhrigu Muni and said, I am so sorry. My chest is so hard. Your feet are so soft. You probably have got hurt, and I'm very, very sorry that I was not able to greet you nicely. Supreme Lord was not affected by, anger, had no lust issues, no wrath issues, none at all. See? Srila Prabhupada says, the Supreme Lord is never affected by wrath or lust. And if there's no lust, there's going to be no wrath. Of course, Krishna exhibits wrath as part of his pastime, but not because he's angry, but there is a reason behind that pastime. And when he is exhibiting wrath, he's not experiencing wrath. Very important to understand. When he shows wrath, he's actually giving benediction. Let's take example of Putana. Putana had come to kill Krishna when he was a baby. But because she came with that intention of serving the Lord by nursing him, he gave her the position of his mother. But at the same time, he showed his wrath by killing her. We've heard about this pastime in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, right? Lord Nrsimhadev, he also showed wrath. To do what? To protect his devotee, pure devotee Prahlad Maharaj. So we see many examples where the Lord shows wrath, but it is actually a benediction. Just like Lord Nrsimhadev, he came to protect Prahlad, but then at the same time, he liberated Hiranyakashipu. So the wrath that he showed to Hiranyakashipu was actually a benediction for him. Excuse me, just like Putana. It appeared to be a wrath, but she got the position of being a mother of the Supreme Lord. What a high position. So basically, Krishna, the Supreme Lord, is Atmaram. He is self-satisfied. He needs nothing. In the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 17, Krishna talks about austerity of the mind. And the first thing he says is self-satisfaction. Very important. So we need to contemplate on our own selves and see, am I satisfied? Or am I hankering for this and that and that and that, and I'm running around trying to get this and that and that? Self-satisfied means happy with whatever we have. Happy in whatever situation we are in. There is no envy. Oh, my neighbor is better than me, has more than I do. No, there is satisfaction. And that will be possible when one is following regulative principles. When one is following the process of Krishna consciousness, process of bhakti yoga, doing mantra meditation every day, chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So when we follow this process of bhakti yoga, automatically there's going to be purification. And when the heart is purified, all the unwanted things are out of the heart, then there's going to be satisfaction. Excuse me. We need to understand chapter 3 and 5 of Bhagavad Gita, Karma Yoga. Whatever we are destined to get based on our past karma, that is all that we are going to get. It doesn't matter how hard we try. We may do 2 jobs, 3 jobs, work really hard, go here, there, make different plans. But if it is not in our karma, we will not get it. So why not be satisfied with what we have? And appreciate what we have. And be grateful to the Lord for what we have. So as soon as we wake up in the morning, be grateful to Krishna that we have another day to live. And at night before going to bed, be grateful that we had a wonderful day today. Thank you, Lord. All this we learn from Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna is self-satisfied. He needs nothing. He doesn't need anybody to satisfy him in any way. What does Parashar Muni say? Aishwarasya samagrasya virasya yashashriya. Lord Krishna is full in opulences. Full. Bhaga means opulences. Van means possessor of opulences. That is Bhagavan. Completely satisfied. In the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 11, verse 33, it is said, my devotees may or may not know exactly what I am, who I am, and how I exist. But if they worship me with unalloyed love, then I consider them to be the best of devotees. This is what we can learn from Srimad Bhagavatam. What is Srimad Bhagavatam? It's the essence of all Vedic literature. It is showing us how to become self-realized. It is showing us what is the way a human being should live. People think we are human beings. No, we are spiritual beings having human experience. We are part of the Supreme Lord. Mamaivamsha jivaloke jivabhuta sanatana. We are eternal parts of Krishna. Our home is the spiritual world, but right now we are in the material world like fish out of the water. And we are trying to be happy. Take a fish out of the water. Give a $5 million home. A Jaguar in the driveway. A lot of things to eat and jewels and diamonds and everything. Is the fish going to be happy? No. Because the constitutional position of the fish is in the water. And our constitutional position is in the spiritual world. So Krishna, being Atmaram and also being so merciful to us, he has given us Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, so we can become self-realized. He's Atmaram. Yadrasha indicates that the Lord is Atmaram, completely self-satisfied. So we should not be under the impression, oh, whatever I'm giving to the Lord is because he needs it. No. It is our need. You know, when people go to the temple and break a coconut or put $11 or whatever it is us who have an agenda on mind. Here, Lord, here's one coconut. You please do this, this, and this for me. It's a business deal. Krishna doesn't need anything, but yet he accepts whatever we offer him with love and devotion. You see? And he is also called Aptakam, one who automatically fulfills all of his own desires. He doesn't need anybody to fulfill his desires. But because he loves his devotees, he sometimes appears to be Anatmaram, which means dependent on the love of his devotees. And he sometimes behaves in such a way that, oh, I'm unable to achieve my desire without cooperation of my devotees. That's not true. He's just giving us an opportunity to serve him. He's independent, but yet he reciprocates the intense love of his devotees. And then he appears to be dependent on his devotees. Just like Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda Maiya, right? Krishna is the Supreme Lord, but still he reciprocates with his parents because of intense love. He doesn't need butter to eat or yogurt to eat. You know, he doesn't want his mother to dress him up with ornament. No, he allows that because there is intense love between him and his parents. He's self-satisfied. Now the question is, how do we become self-satisfied? One thing to understand is we can never satisfy ourselves with material desires. Material desires can never give us satisfaction. Even if they do give, it is temporary, very short-lived. No matter how hard we try to satisfy senses, they are not going to be satisfied. Imagine there is a bucket and we are trying to fill water in the bucket and we want it all full, but there's a hole in the bucket. What will be the result? The water is all going to just drain out. Doesn't matter how much water we keep filling in the bucket, it's all going to drain out because there's a hole in the bucket. This is how our senses work. No matter how much we try, we may get temporary pleasure, we may enjoy for a little while, but it's going to vanish. That enjoyment does not last. And Maya will make us believe it's permanent pleasure. This material world is a very nice place to live in. It's like a clubhouse. It's okay. I have everything that I want. I have a nice family, nice house, job, car, money. What more do I want? So if a person keeps engaging in enjoying the senses only, which is called sense gratification, the consciousness gets contaminated. And the person starts thinking, I'm the Lord of all I survey. Everything is there for my pleasure, right? I'm going to live forever. That's the contamination. I'm this body. I'm never going to die. No. We got to be very vigilant. Even when we come on the path of Bhakti Yoga, when we start practicing Bhakti Yoga, we still got to be vigilant because we can fall in the trap of Maya any time. But one who follows the process of Bhakti Yoga very sincerely, this process is given to us by Srila Prabhupada. So when we follow it very sincerely and seriously and make Krishna the ultimate goal of our life, then and only then we will be saved from Maya. That doesn't mean that Maya is not going to strike. She will try. In fact, she tries harder on devotees who are trying to go back to the spiritual world to make sure that we are really serious about our goal. Those who are already in Maya, Maya doesn't need to do anything about them anyway. They are already in her trap. But she is more concerned about those who are trying to become Krishna conscious, because she wants to make sure that we are qualified to go back to the spiritual world. Just like when we enter a country, we have to meet the qualifications, whatever is required, whether it's the paperwork, visa, passport, whatever is necessary. We have to fulfill all of that. So also, to go to Vaikuntha planets, we need to qualify ourselves. And the qualification is, you can say, it is possible to be qualified when we follow everything 100%, which means chanting attentively every day, minimum 16 rounds, following the 4 regulative principles very, very strictly. There is more to that. Reading Srila Prabhupada's books scrutinizingly, associating with devotees, because association of devotees is very powerful, so powerful. It inspires us to do better in bhakti. It actually gives us motivation to become more serious on this path of bhakti. And of course, doing seva, service. Serving in the temple, serving the devotees, serving the spiritual master, serving the Lord. This is how we'll be able to remove all the unwanted things from the heart. And as today's verse says, lust and wrath, that's all. Lust is also one of the anarthas, which is in the heart. And what does Rupa Goswami say? Adau Shraddha, tata sadhu sanga, tata bhajana kriya. Then there's going to be anartha nivritti. So first we have Shraddha, basic faith. There is God. I am not God. There is God. His name is Krishna, according to the scriptures. And there's a process of purifying oneself. So when we have that Shraddha, then we do sadhu sangha, we associate with devotees and we learn from them. And do bhajana kriya, which means follow the process of bhakti yoga. Chanting, reading, associating, serving. Then there's going to be anartha nivritti. Anarthas will be removed from the heart. See, we are very, very, very fortunate that we are hearing Srimad Bhagavatam today. It's not by chance. It's because we have done a lot of piety in this life, previous life, many previous lives, that we've got this opportunity to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. We are very fortunate that we were exposed to Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam by Srila Prabhupada. Right? So now that we have got this fortune or a treasure house, we should take full advantage of it. Like Prabhupada says, finish your business in this life and go back to the spiritual world. Now that we have this opportunity. We don't know if in the next life we will be a human being. Say, supposing we do get a human birth. There is no guarantee that someone will give us this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. So let's think, suppose that, okay, someone does approach us with this knowledge. There's no guarantee we'll take it up seriously. There's no guarantee we will finish our business and go back to the spiritual world. So now, like they say, whatever you want to do tomorrow, you do it today. What you want to do today, you do it now. Kal kare so aaj kar, aaj kare so ab. Do it now. Now is the only time. It's the only time. Yesterday I was asked to come and give a class on Bhagavad Gita at one of my friend's house, whose father-in-law had passed away, who left the body. And this is all I was explaining again from Bhagavad Gita. We don't know when will be our last moment. We may want to live 100 years, but there's no guarantee. We don't know if we'll see tomorrow. So now is the time to become serious in Bhakti Yoga. Take full advantage and go back to the spiritual world. We have everything that we need. We have the holy name, we have the books, we have devotees, we have temples, we have everything. All we need to do is take it up seriously. That's about it. So the verse once again. Great stalwarts like Lord Shiva can, by their wrathful glances, overcome lust and vanquish him. Yet they cannot be free from the overwhelming effects of their own wrath. Such wrath can never enter into the heart of him, the Lord, who is above all this. So, how can lust take shelter in his mind? So I'll end now. Thank you. Hare Krishna.